Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, what are the solutions to the following quadratic equation? 3x squared minus 2x minus 4 equals 0. So what are they asking me to do? Well, they want for us to find the solution, right? Okay, and of course they are giving us a quadratic equation. Now, if you remember, solution means that if I was to graph this one on a calculator or by hand, I'm actually looking for those points where my quadratic equation or my quadratic uh, function in this case crosses the x-axis, right? Now, keep in mind that it's possible that it's crossing it maybe once, maybe twice, maybe none, okay? So that's the reason why we're gonna do different approaches for this particular section. On this problem, we are gonna approach it by using the quadratic formula. And you don't need to memorize it. Luckily for us, you can always get this formula from your formula chart. Now, if I want to use this formula, notice how I do see A, B, and C, right? So I know what you're thinking. Where am I going to get that information from? Well, basically, we're going to get it from the quadratic equation that is given to us. The only difference is that we are going to need to write the standard form right below my equation. Let's see if you remember standard form. Standard form says something like ax squared plus bx plus c. Therefore, this is going to help us find a, b, and c. Do you remember that? Therefore, a will be my positive 3, b will be a negative 2, and c will be a negative 4. Very good. Okay, so now we're going to write down those numbers. So we said a is a 3, B is a negative 2, and C is a negative 4. And that's basically all I need to use the formula. Okay, so we're going to go back to the formula and we're going to write down my numbers. Now, in the formula, I do see a negative B. Therefore, I am going to write down a negative. I am going to write down parentheses because B for me is a negative. So I need to make sure that I do write a negative number. Okay, then I say plus or minus. I'm just following the formula, and then I see a B. I am going to write down parentheses because anytime that I raise it to a power, I need to make sure that I'm raising my negative 2. Okay? Then I say minus 4, A is 3, and C is negative 4. I'm going to extend my line. Then I'm going to divide all of that by 2 times A, which is 3. Maybe that's the reason why some students don't like it, because they feel that it's too much. But honestly, this is a very friendly formula. All you gotta do is just follow the formula that is given to you and substitute the values as they're asking you. Okay, so I'm gonna continue. Now, the negative times a negative 2 is, think about it like this, it's negative 1 times a negative 2. That's actually a positive 2 plus or minus. Now inside the parentheses, okay, I'm gonna show you. I know you can always put all this on the calculator, right? But this is your learning time, right? So might as well let's take advantage of that. Make sure that we get to learn the steps. So negative 2 to the second power, it's equals to a 4. And when I multiply the rest, it's negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Negative 12 times negative 4 gives me a positive 48. And all of that will be divided by 2 times 3 is 6. Got that? Okay, now let's continue. What I'm going to do next is I am going to add up those two numbers, right? 4 plus 48 is going to give me a 52. Don't forget, this is still inside the radical. Now, what I need to do next is I need to do something with the square root of 52. So I'm going to need to kind of break it apart, right? And that will be something like 4 times, think about from this point of view. I want to find two numbers that when I multiply them gives me a 52. So I can multiply 4 times 13. And the reason why I like a 4 is because I can bring the 4 outside. And that will give me 2 times the square root of 13, right? So that simplifies to that. So I'm going to get 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 13 divided by 6. And now I can simplify. I can divide 2 and 6, right? Both of them can be divided by 2. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to divide this by 2. I'm going to divide that 2 that is outside by 2. And that 6 also, I'm going to divide it by 2. Okay? And that's going to give me x equals 2 divided by 2 is 1 plus or minus 2 divided by 2 is 1, but I don't really need the 1 outside. So I don't need to write it down. And 6 divided by 2 gives me a 3. Very good. Let's look at the answer choices and see which one is that. Now, from here, I can continue my problem, but looking at the answer choices, I notice that my answer choice A matches my problem right now. Is that right? So let's suppose that you do want to continue the problem. So I'm going to write it down on the side just to give you an idea of what will you need to do. I will need to separate this, and I will say 1 plus square root of 13 over 3. That will be 1 of my solution. The other one will be 1 minus. That's the reason why we have the plus and minus, guys. Okay? So the next one will be 1 minus square root of 13 over 3. And you're welcome to write down or to actually put this on the calculator, and that will give you not an exact value. It will be probably a decimal, right? But this is what it means from here. That's how I go to that step. Okay? And like I said, if you wish, you can put all this on the calculator and you will get two answers. Okay? Any questions? Good. Okay, so even though they're not asking us to find the exact solutions, right? I just want you guys to finish it up for me so that you can see what this actually means. That's the reason why you have a plus and a minus, because when we separate it, it's possible, right, that they're going to give you two solutions or two answers. So the top one, if I put that in the calculator, it will give me an approximation of a 1.53. And like I said, it's an approximation because anytime that we have square roots, more than likely, of course, if it's not a perfect square, it will be approximations, okay? And the last one is close to a negative 0.86. And now those will be my approximations of my solutions, okay? That's the reason why many times we leave the answer like this. Because in this way, we are showing you that those will be the way that I can find my solutions. Okay? Awesome.